What's up, Steelers Nation? Buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the hottest and most unexpected rumors swirling around the NFL right now. Could the Pittsburgh Steelers actually be more likely to trade for Tyreek Hill than Terry McLaurin? Yeah, you heard that right. Two of the league's most dynamic receivers, and the Steelers are being floated as a possible destination for both. But one might actually be more realistic than the other. And it's not who most people are expecting. Let's get into all the details, speculation, and insider logic that's fueling this fire. Now, let's not sugarcoat anything. The Steelers' offense in 2024 left a lot on the table. While there were some bright spots, particularly from George Pickens, the passing game lacked real punch, the kind of punch that keeps defensive coordinators up at night. The kind of punch that puts points on the board in the postseason. Pickens has talent, no doubt, but there's a difference between talent and consistent game-breaking production. The Steelers haven't had a true WR1 threat since Antonio Brown's prime, and it's showing. With a new offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith and a retooled QB room with both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields battling it out, Pittsburgh might finally be ready to go all in on making this offense elite. So, where does Tyreek Hill come in? On the surface, it seems crazy. Why would the Dolphins trade away one of the most explosive weapons in football? But when you start to dig into the business side of things, it starts to make a little more sense. Miami is entering some tough salary cap territory. They've got big contracts coming up for Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, and several key defenders. And with Hill's cap hit rising north of $31 million next year, the Dolphins could be forced to make some tough decisions. Now, this doesn't mean they are actively shopping Tyreek Hill, but it does mean that under the right circumstances, like a slow start or a push for financial flexibility, they could be open to listening. Here's where the Steelers become a serious dark horse. Pittsburgh is actually sitting in a very strong cap position heading into 2025. They've been smart with their contracts and have the flexibility to absorb a big deal like Hill's. And think about it. Imagine this offense with Tyreek Hill stretching the field. Suddenly, George Pickens is facing single coverage. Pat Freiermuth has room to operate underneath. Najee Harris, or Jalen Warren, has more space in the box. Defenses simply wouldn't be able to stack the line or double one side. It completely changes the calculus of this unit. And look, this isn't just about highlight reels. Tyreek Hill brings elite production. He's averaged over 1,700 yards in his last two seasons, leads the league in explosive plays, and draws constant double teams. That kind of attention makes everyone else better. If the Steelers believe they have a defense good enough to contend, and many around the league believe they do, then going after a guy like Hill could be the missing piece to make a real Super Bowl run. But there's another name that's been floating around for months now, Terry McLaurin. The Washington Commanders are in a total rebuild. They've got a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels, a new regime, and a fresh culture being installed. McLaurin is 29 and still playing at a high level, but if Washington wants to get younger and stack draft picks, he could be the odd man out. He's signed through 2026 on a reasonable deal for a wide receiver 1, and his game is all about reliability. Great hands, precise routes, high character, everything Mike Tomlin loves in a player. On paper, McLaurin fits the Steelers perfectly. He doesn't bring the speed or explosion that Tyreek does, but he's a legit chain mover. He wins in contested situations, and he commands respect as a route runner. Pittsburgh's offense could absolutely benefit from his presence. He's the type of guy that helps a young QB develop by being in the right place, doing the right thing, every single down. And the price tag wouldn't be as steep as Hill's. You're probably looking at a second-round pick and maybe a late-round sweetener. That's a move the Steelers could make without blinking. But here's where things get really interesting. Despite the price difference in contract dynamics, Tyreek Hill might actually be the more likely acquisition if the Steelers decide to go big. Why? Because the Steelers already have a possession-style receiver in Pickens. What they lack is someone who can blow the top off a defense, command immediate attention, and open up the field. Hill is a one-man gravity machine. McLaurin, while excellent, doesn't bring that same level of field-altering presence. He upgrades the offense, sure, but he doesn't transform it. It all comes down to identity. Are the Steelers content to stay balanced, gritty, and traditional? Or are they ready to turn the page and become something modern, fast, and dangerous? If they want to keep winning low-scoring games with defense and safe play calling, McLaurin is a perfect fit. If they want to go toe-to-toe with the Bengals, Ravens, and Chiefs in a shootout, then Tyreek is the guy. Now let's talk about the actual trade scenarios. For Hill, you're probably looking at a 2026 first-round pick, a mid-rounder in 2025, and maybe a player like Calvin Austin to sweeten the deal. That's a lot, but it's not out of the question if Miami is trying to offload salary. For McLaurin, a 2025 second-round pick and a sixth-rounder would likely get it done. Both are realistic. The real question is, what are the Steelers trying to build? There's also the matter of whether Tyreek would even want to come to Pittsburgh. He's played with Mahomes. He's played in Miami. He's used to sunshine, playoff races, and high-octane offenses. Would he see Pittsburgh as a step down? That depends on how the season starts. If Wilson or Fields is showing real progress, if the Steelers are winning games early, and if the offense looks like it's just one piece away, then Pittsburgh becomes a very attractive landing spot, especially if Hill wants to prove he can elevate another team and win in a different system. On the flip side, McLaurin is exactly the kind of guy who would embrace Pittsburgh. Hard-nosed, detail-oriented, quiet leader. He fits the culture perfectly. There's no question he'd show up, go to work, and deliver. But again, he's a great wide receiver, not a game breaker. So it comes down to this. Do the Steelers want to add a consistent piece to strengthen their identity? Or do they want to blow the lid off this offense with one of the most dangerous weapons in the league? Personally, if I'm calling the shots and I think this team is ready to contend, I'm swinging for the fences. I'm calling Miami. I'm putting Tyreek Hill in black and gold. You don't get many shots at players like this. And if he becomes available, even for a premium, you go get him. Because a wide receiver like Tyreek doesn't just improve your offense, he redefines it. That said, I get the other side. McLaurin is safer, he's more affordable, and you keep more draft capital to build long-term. There's no bad option here, really. But if you're trying to catch the Chiefs, Ravens, and Bengals, you don't do it by being conservative. You do it by being bold. So now I turn it over to you. Steelers Nation, what do you think? If the Steelers could only make one move, Tyreek Hill or Terry McLaurin, who are you going after? Are you ready to bet big on the cheetah? Or are you playing it smart and steady with Scary Terry? Let me know in the comments. I'm going through all of them. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth Steelers content, and share this video with a friend who lives and breathes black and gold. Thanks for watching, and as always, here we go, Steelers!